Wayne, can you chase the people from the other room in now? Hello, Carmel. Good to see you. I hope everyone realizes we had a pro-neg tonight, and we are not having an oneg. Pro-neg is a pre-service oneg. Oneg coming from the Hebrew word for joy and happiness, because eating gives us joy. We have 1 minute and 2 seconds to get this crowd in. What am I even talking about tonight? Let's just see. Give them food and they show up. Give them some food and they show up. And Roman, are you lying to me? I think you're really solo tonight. If everyone could grab a seat, we're going to begin in about 30 seconds. If everyone could grab a seat, including past presidents. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is great to see everyone here. We're going to be celebrating Shabbat and what I also call Hanukkah Sheni. That is not the second night of Hanukkah, because Sheni represents the second, but the second time we have gathered for Hanukkah. If you were here last week, we had over 200 people, and it was wild and crazy, and now all the kids are on vacation, and it won't be so wild and crazy, but it will be just as fulfilling spiritually. You'll all have a chance to join us as we light our candles, and we'll learn a little bit more about Hanukkah. So let's take a moment and wish Shabbat Shalom to people sitting around us. Let's give a wave. And if you're not familiar with our music director, cantorial soloist Joel Stein, he'll be leading us in song tonight. I think you have something to play now?
Yeah, let's do a nigun.
A nigun? What's a nigun, Joel?
A nigun is just a melody with no words. Yalai, lalai, lai, yalai, lalai, lai, lai, lalai, lai, yalalai, yalalai, lai, lalai, lai, lai, lalai, lai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalalai, yalalai, lai, lalai, lai, yalalai, yalalai, yalai, lalai, lai, yai, lalalai. Yai, rai, rai, rai. Yai, rai, 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 rai. Lai, rai, rai, rai. Lai, rai, rai, rai. Lai, rai, rai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalalai, yalalai. Lai, lalai, lai, lai, lalai, lai, yalai, lalai, lai, yalalai, yalalai, lai, lalai, lai, yalalai, yalalai, yalai, lalai, lai, yai, lalalai, yai, rai, 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 lai, rai, 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 rai.
Our winter solstice occurred how many days ago? 2 days ago, correct? Shortest day of the year, which makes it the darkest day of the year. And when we find that when we study religions, many religions, that they have holidays that always fall sometime around this solstice. Think about Hanukkah. We bring light in to contrast this darkness. Even think about Christmas. Christmas trees filled with lights. And so many ancient religions did the same. And the whole idea is to remind us that even during the darkest of days, you can have light that pierces that darkness. You can have light that increases each day. Light that can bring some joy and happiness to each one of us. And at the same time, within our tradition, we have 2 Torah portions about Joseph, our ancestor Joseph, that occur right before and during Hanukkah. First we have Vayeshev, where Joseph is taken from being his father's favorite son and ends up in jail. He goes from here to here. And then we have Miketz. And Miketz, which means at the end of, and it's referring to the end of his imprisonment, he starts to rise. And that's to parallel our Hanukkah celebration. The idea is that we hit that lowest point, and then we start to move up once again. And so each day we light one more candle to remind us of the increasing joy that is possible for our lives. So we're going to do a Hanukkah sing-along right now to bring in some more joy and some more light. And I believe we all have song sheets, because I'm terrible at remembering words. So, Joel, what are we singing first?
Let's do Mi Yimalel, then we'll go into tomorrow's tour after that. Mi Yimalel gvuot Yisrael otan mi yimne hen bechol dor yakum hagibor goel ha'am. Mi Yimalel gvuot Yisrael otan mi yimne hen bechol dor yakum hagibor goel ha'am. Shema bayamim hahem bazman hazeh Maccabi Moshiach ufodeh uvyamenu kol am Yisrael yitached yakum vehigael. Mi yimalel gvurot Yisrael otan mi yimnehem bechol dor yakum hagibor goel ha'am. Mi yimalel gvurot Yisrael otan mi yimnehem bechol dor yakum hagibor goel ha'am. Ma'od sur Yeshuati lecha na'eh leshabeach tikon betefilati v'sham toda nezabeach letachim adeach mitzar hamna beach az egmor b'shir mizmor Hanukkah hamizbeach az egmor b'shir mizmor Hanukkah hamizbeach.
Now it's time to light our Hanukkah candles. And we begin by lighting the shamash, the helper candle. As my grandmother used to say in Yiddish, the shamus. And we are taught to place the candle. Oh, wow, that one's in there nice and tight. We are taught to put them in right to left and then to light left to right. We go Hebrew reading, but then we light the newest candle first. And it's my tradition, which is not according to Jewish halakha, Jewish law, to sing as we light. By Jewish law, you would sing and then light. But we're going to sing as we go. Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav V'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
So last week I talked a lot about, well, I included many funny ideas because it was a big family celebration. And during the family celebrations, I don't mention the battles, the true story of Hanukkah, because it was a very violent time in Jewish history, and also a very dark time. And so because people don't come to both of our Hanukkah services, we soon forget about stories like Hannah and her 7 sons. She was forced to watch all 7 boys die because they refused to eat pork. And the same thing had happened to Eleazar the scribe. And if we look closely at 1st and 2nd Maccabees, at the history of Mattathias and his sons, we'd see that really none of them survived more than a few years. The battles were tough, rulership was tough, and the changes were happening quite rapidly. But there are also so many moments of light. We have Hannah, the daughter of Mattathias, who shames her community into taking action. We have Judith's story, which is probably just a fable, but we have her story that has moved from 450 BCE to 167 BCE and somehow becomes part of the Hanukkah story, but Judith's beheading of a general, which sends an army into disarray. We have the story of Eleazar, son of Mattathias, who kills a general by killing an elephant, and that elephant crushes him in the act. And we finally have Judah the Maccabee, who led his brothers and his people to a victory that allowed us to regain our temple. And so we have to remember that in every battle and every great rebellion, there are moments of darkness and there are moments of light. And the idea is to remember the victories while respecting those, well, whose lives were lost. And so when we look at Hanukkah and we look at the lights cutting through the darkness, we have to realize there was a lot of darkness during this period. But there was also a lot of light. So we're going to bring some light in right now, because we're going to do L'chad Odi. We're going to have the light, the brightness of the Shabbat bride enter our presence. So we're going to turn to page 138, and we're going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on that 9th verse, we're all going to rise and face the back door as her light, well, cuts through any darkness we might feel tonight. But we're not standing yet. Yeah. Here we go.
L'chad Odi יקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה l'chad Odi יקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד הוא שמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה l'chad Odi יקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה l'chad Odi יקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם משוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה l'chad Odi קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדותי נקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי קיבה אורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לחדותי נקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדותי נקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה.
Rise if we are able and face the back door.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצוהלה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לחדותי נקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדותי נקרא קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לילה 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 לילה
Dan and Sharon, come on forward to light our candles. Everyone else can have a seat. I have to admit, I had the fun of lighting the Hanukkah candles tonight. It's a lot of candles to light at once. And at home this year at Hanukkah, who's been lighting the candles every night? My wife's been lighting. Oh, all of you, that's great. Our house, Lisa's really been into it this year. So as these candles are lit, we're taught that they're lit after the Hanukkah candles, and the Hanukkah candles should go out before these go out, please. Here we go.
La 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 ya 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 ra 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר קידשנו במצוותיו, במצוותיו, וציוונו להדליק נר, וציוונו להדליק נר, וציוונו להדליק נר. של שבת.
We turn to page 146 for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Please rise if you're able. We face the ark. The Baruch Hu.
Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. ברכו את אדוני המבורך ברוך Adonai המבורך המבורך לעולם ועד המבורך המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please remain standing for the Shema. Let's take one hand and cover our eyes. Let's still our bodies. Let's take a deep breath in and out. In and out. One more deep breath in and out. And now the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated. We turn to page 154 for the Vahafta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בעם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
So, once again, how many people were lighting the menorahs? So let me ask you another question. How many people go through their box of colored candles? And like, oh, red, green, blue, yellow, pink. And that's a lot of fun, right? And you might even lay them out for all 8 nights, different colors. I was thinking about all those different colors. Because a year ago, I was emceeing, hosting the City Hall candle lighting. And there were a number of speakers before I started running this candle lighting program. And they seemed to have said everything I had as my prepared comments. So I had to make something up on the spot for this interfaith group. And so I started talking about how the candle boxes are representative, really, of our city. There's so many different kinds of people from so many different nationalities. And we start off with that first candle, which sort of represents that Jewish community. But we're not alone in giving light to our city, to our community, to one another. So we had another color, which represents a different culture, and another, and another, and another, until finally the whole community is represented on our Hanukkah. Because when we work together, as I mentioned last year to them, we work together as a community, and we all shine our brightness, we all put forth our goodness, our joy, we're going to make a greater city. I think that's true for all of us. It doesn't really matter who you are when we work together, when we put forth our own brightness, and then we join our brightness to others, things are only going to move forward in a good direction. So speaking about moving forward in a good direction, the Micha Mocha is a song where those Israelites moved in a good direction because they left slavery and they moved toward freedom. And so our next prayer will be Micha Mocha, found on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה לי ענו ואמרו, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. יאללה 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 יאללה.
Let's turn to page 162 for Vishamru. And as a way to introduce it, let's read the English together, as I'm going to make you open up your books if you've just been enjoying the music and the words tonight. So we're in the middle of 162, and I need everyone to help me read right now. Together. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We turn to page 371 for the Misha Berach prayer. We say the Misha Berach for those who are ill of mind, body, spirit. Currently on our Misha Berach list, Wayne Shaw, Ronnie Rothstein, Debbie Schwartz, Dina Leiker, Alex Avlas, Joan Sietzma, Michael Ray, Joseph Ray, David Berger, Abby Rapport, Sandy Glauber, Renee Ross, Joyce Rubel, Ron Jacobs, Joyce Stern, Mark Jeff Stickler, Eric Wacha, Ed Edelson, Leanne Rosenberg, Jeffrey Albaum, Janet Blake, Pam Branner, Lynn Newman, Emily Zastro, Mark Mann, Gail Bensaquin, Morden Yevziros. We also think of those suffering in the Ukraine, those injured due to border challenges, those healing from all too frequent gun violence, those affected by terrorist attacks and environmental challenges, and of course we give our support and our prayers to those caring for the ill. If you have an additional name for our Misha Barak list, share it with me now. Lynn Newman. Mishaberach Avatenu Vimatenu. May the God of our ancestors grant our Fuah Shlema a complete and full healing to all those named tonight and to all those we hold in our hearts. And together we say, Amen. The singing of Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Please rise. We're on page 164 for the Amidah. Prayer invites. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. Page 164.
Adonai, שפתי תפתח ופי אגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומיתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently through page 180. When you're done with your silent prayer, you may be seated.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך הדור, לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך הדור, לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
A Hanukkah story, because it is Hanukkah. A long time ago, the Baal Shem Tov, he and his wife Hannah lived in the Carpathian Mountains. And during the week when he wasn't busy working and living, making a living and answering people's questions about Judaism, he would go wander off into the woods. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, please sing along. He would go out into those woods. And he found that he had a connection to everything he saw, deers and birds and squirrels, animals of every kind. And there are many stories about the Baal Shem Tov and how he could interact and speak with and connect to animals. Well, one Friday, just before sunset, he said to his wife, Hanukkah begins tonight. I'm going to go take a walk, but if I'm running a little bit late, light the first Hanukkah candle without me. And so he went walking. He went walking down his normal Shabbat path. He went walking down a path he had traveled so many times before. And then the sun began to set, and he turned around and he realized that he was lost. The familiarity that he had with the area was no longer there. And he had a sense, maybe I should walk this way. And he walked in that direction for a while and then said, no, maybe I need to walk in this way. And snow began to fall. And that snow began to, blind him. He couldn't see where he was going. But he kept stumbling forward till he could stumble further no more. And he fell into the snow. And as we all know, falling into the snow and falling asleep in a snowbank can be quite dangerous. And there he was, thinking, I should have listened to my wife and not gone on this walk. But there he was, drifting in and out of consciousness. And suddenly, he saw this figure through the snow. A figure he couldn't make out very clearly, and the figure seemed to be holding one candle. And it woke him up just a little bit, and he said, who are you? And the man said, I am Mattathias, the father of the Maccabees, and I brought this candle just for you. And the Baal Shem Tov lifted himself up and started stumbling towards his candle and this man. And then he noticed the man was holding a Hanukkah, and it reminded him so of the Hanukkah he had in his own home. And he saw there was one candle lit in it. And every time he thought he was close to reaching this man, the man would move a few feet further. And he kept stumbling and falling and stumbling and falling and following this man, this spirit who claimed to be Mattathias. And then finally he fell one too many times. And he could not lift himself up. But that voice of Mattathias came back again and said, even if your muscles fail, your faith will not. It's not by might, it's not by power, but by your spirit that you will travel home. And he lifted himself up once again. And as he lifted himself up, he said the prayer, Sha'asa nisim lavo tenu bayamim ahem bazman hazeh. God, you have created miracles in the days of old. Create a miracle for me today, tonight, right now. And he picked himself up, and with his last bits of energy, he pushed himself forward. And finally, he saw a path he recognized. And he knew his home was so close. And he passed the fields and the trees and the animals that were in those fields. And then he saw his house in the distance. And he saw that on the windowsill was a Hanukkah with 8 full candles. And he saw that the window of the house was filled with guests, but there was no singing, there was no joy, no simcha. And then he saw his wife outside the house with a tear coming down her face. He thought to himself, it was past midnight. People must be worried about me. And then she ran to her husband when she saw him. And she says, "Thank God you have come home alive." Tears of happiness now begin to line her face. And he said, "What is going on? Why are there 8 candles?" And she said, "On that first night, I lit that first candle. And then the Hanukkah and the candle disappeared. And then tonight, just as the 8th night began, the Hanukkah mysteriously reappeared. And I prayed that meant that you were coming home." It was a Hanukkah miracle, a Hanukkah ness. It was a sign. And then Rabbi Israel understood, the Baal Shem Tov understood, that Mattathias had taken the menorah from his window and used it to guide him back home. And he told his wife about the dream and about the silent figure who had guided him through the forest. But he also knew it wasn't a dream. And before they entered the house, he pointed to the window and the way the menorah had been restored to its place. And he smiled, knowing that all that was holy was protecting him. And the flames glowed brightly that night as he and his community celebrated Hanukkah. So my blessing for each and every one of you tonight, may your darkest of days, moments when you feel lost and don't know where to turn, may they be pierced by light. The light of joy, the light of hope, the light of friendship, the light of Mattathias, the light of love, so that you too can find your way home again to a house filled with joy. And together we say, Amen. And Joel, you going to do another Hanukkah song for us? Yeah. If you pull out your song sheet, I think we're doing Ocho Candelicas, which I think means 9 pears, or is it 12 apples? Yeah.
Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Oh, una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Hanukkah linda está aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Oh, una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí.
And now it's my honor to ask our board member, or one of our board members, Wayne Schulman, to come forward with a few announcements. Wayne's got a big crowd here going, Wayne, Wayne.
Thank you, Rabbi John and musical director Joel Stein, for this beautiful service. And Dave and Lindsay, thank you for making everybody sound good and look good and making sure all the people who can attend are able to view this online. A few announcements. The next 2 Fridays, December 30th and January 6th, will be online only via Zoom. No, December 30th and January 6th, online only, Facebook and Zoom. Temple will be closed. December 30th, January 6th. Mark your calendars. Don't come here. There's no oneg, there's no proneg, there's no wine, there's no nothing. It's Rabbi John online.
With Joel.
With Joel. A couple of save the dates. Poker, February 4th. It's a Saturday night this year. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of new stuff. We're going to have some interesting prizes. If you don't play poker, there's going to be games to be played in the upstairs classrooms. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but it's an open bar. So please, if you haven't signed up, please do so for poker, February 4th. Our annual gala this year is being held on May 20th. Are we honoring anybody this year? I don't think. My wife. Your wife. We are honoring Rabbi John and Lisa Hanisch for all that they do for us, and they so richly deserve to be honored. We are having a talent show on March 25th. I don't know if you have a talent. I don't know if we have any ex-burlesque queens here who want to bring their talent to the talent show, or comedians or science people, but please sign up. Our tzedakah this evening is going directly to our West Valley Food Pantry. There's a QR code right on your Shalom sheet for direct giving. And on a personal note, as a community, a few months ago, we all came together to celebrate the Jewish New Year. And in about a week's time, we will be celebrating another New Year. My wish to you is the same as it was back then, health and happiness, and only good things written next to your name in the big book of life. Shabbat Shalom.
We turn to page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. On our recently departed list, Gloria Katzman, remembered by the Friedman and Katzman families. Leonard Bell, remembered by the Josephson family. Jack Simony, remembered by the Simony, McGonigal and Shuffman families. Ted Korshak, remembered by the Nyberg and Korshak families. And Arnold Feingersh, remembered by the Feingersh family. We also hold in our prayers those taken by gun violence that occurs on an all too frequent basis, those who have died of COVID, those that have passed due to floods, fires, and other natural and unnatural disasters, and those killed in regional conflicts. We also remember those who died during this season in years past. Philip Blackman, Hermione Esmer, Jerry Feldman, Giselle Frankfurter, Kurt Frankfurter, Bess Greenberg, Kalman Greiner, Don Greiser, Bessie Hoffing, Bunny Katz, Milt Morris, Mitchell Paul, Sidney Remsen, Edith Rockoff, Arthur Schulman, Jack Snyder, Alan Stark, Mark Stawisky, Eleanor Tilsner, Lee Warner, James Wolfe, and Millie Utan. If you have an additional name for our Kaddish Yortzeit list, please share it with me now. If you're in the first 7 days of morning Shiva, I ask you to please rise. If you're in the first 30 days of morning Shloshim, I ask you to please rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, please rise. If you're observing a Yortzeit, I ask you to please rise. These are the mourners in our midst. We rise to show them our love and our support. We are on page 598. Yitgadal v'yikadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Bagalav Izman Kari Vimru. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarak Leolam Olamei Amaya. Yit Barach, Viet Tabach, Viet Ba'ar, Viet Roman, Viet Naseh. Viet Adar, Viet Alev, Viet Alal, Shmei Dekud Shah, Baruchu. Leila Min Kol Birchata Vashirata. Chushbachata Venechamata. Damiran Be'alma Vimru. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shmaya. V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Vimru. Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Hu Yaseh Shalom. Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. Vimru. Amen. May the one who makes peace on high grant peace to all who mourn, to all Israel, and to all humankind. And together we say, amen. If you know the people next to you, put your arms around them. If you do not, ask permission first, please.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. Shabbat Shalom.
Lisa, Susan, Karen, come on forward. I'm going to call this row. And hold our Kiddush cup and our challah tonight. And we'll do a short Kiddush tonight. Who would like to hold the cup?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Chaim.
Let's all point at the challah and go yummy, yum, yum.
Yum, yum, yum.
Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz te'avon.
If you like a piece of challah, we're going to put it on this little side table tonight because we did the proneg and not the oneg. So you can take a bite
Bim
first.
bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat 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 Shabbat.